Good evening. How are we
Evening all. All good, all good.
We are obviously joined tonight by Mike from Legion Airsoft Events. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Up top.
Yeah.
How's everyone's week been?
Yeah, not so bad, mate.
I always find this start bit a little bit weird because we've just been having a chat and then we've got to have a chat again.
Yeah. Rewind.
Hi, guys, in the chat. We've got Rage, James. Feel free if anyone's got any questions for Mike. We've obviously got a few prepared already, but feel free to whack some in the chat as well. I'll then pick up on those.
Evening, Reese.
And feed those in.
Here they come. Here they all come down. They're all coming thick and fast. How's the decorating going, Mr. Fraser? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. I've now got 2 rooms that are usable, so both my bedroom and the bathroom. So we're getting there. So, hello, Mike. You've just moved house as well, haven't you? So I guess you've got a fair bit to do.
Yeah. Luckily, we got someone that comes in and does it for us, so it's not so. I don't have to do it myself. It's been absolutely chaos. We've just moved out, and I'm in the process of coming Wednesday. I've got to hand over the keys to my company's, not Legion, my other company's office, because we've just taken over a new training center for them. So it's been absolutely manic the last few weeks. Looking forward to having Sunday off. Yeah, turning my phone off on Sunday. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Quiet time for Mike.
Literally, yeah. For a day of nothing.
Nice.
Sounds good. Well, gents, shall we crack on it?
Yeah, let's crack on. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we've got Mike along from Legion tonight, guys. Who's going to be answering a lot of very highbrow executive questions for us regarding all things Milsim aspect and planning and procedures and execution of events that have been so well received over the last few years that Legion have been doing them. So, but I mean, obviously, we've got the man here. So, Mike, if you don't mind, mate, just a bit of background on you. You know, where you come from obviously serving and then sort of branching out into like running your own airsoft company. If you don't mind, that'd be great to start on.
Yeah. So, I was in the forces, reserve, a little bit of regular service, deployed to Iraq a couple of times, out to Afghanistan, and then I sort of finished back. The plan was to transfer over to the regulars for a long period. The wife decided that was not a good idea when I came back from Afghanistan after the energetic tour we had out there. So I transferred back to reserves, took a couple of years off on extended leave, and then basically 2012 sort of got told to hand my kit in because I hadn't been there for a while. So, which was about the same time as I went and played my first ever game of airsoft, and gave all my kit away. And then about a month later, realised I've probably fucking need all that now. So, That was it. I actually was really anti-airsoft as a squaddie.
Fair play, yeah.
Because I just,
for obvious reasons, I suppose.
Yeah, for obvious reasons, I don't need to say. And then I went to our sort of first event, which was just a skirmish down at Chobham, and I actually realised not everyone's an absolute bell end that plays. So I actually enjoyed it. It's good fun. So here we are. And then, in terms of the events, I set up a YouTube channel called Templar Airsoft for mainly because I enjoy video editing, really, and sort of like playing with the kit and stuff. Simon, the other half of Legion, he owns Sierra Alpha Supply, so he's got surplus and stuff. So he was like, do you want to do a gun review for us and some kit reviews, etc., etc. So started off with that really, and then just got more and more involved, and then ran an event for Ambush Adventures at Longboard, and that was really the start of sort of wanting to get into the events. And then I used to help. So Simon used to do training. he's done some film extra work, and one of our DS's, Jim, he's done some film extra work, and he's ex-military and has done some tactical training stuff as well. So they used to do training days for airsofters at a site in Aldershot. I forget what the name of it is now, but
It's the depot,
so I used to help out in that. No, it wasn't the depot. The billet. I think it was the billet.
The billet, that's the one.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, cool.
So I used to help out in there a little bit, and then started doing some teaching for, on the training days. I'd run little elements on there, and then me and Simon basically said, look, let's set up a company and run some events, and then from that sort of Legion was born basically, and it's been sunshine and rainbows ever since.
I expect it has, yeah. Is that said through gritted teeth, is it?
Yeah.
No, nice, man. That's cool.
Yeah, so it's
was Milsim something always yours to want to get into rather than just like airsoft events in general?
I didn't know Milsim was a thing until I booked onto an event at Longboard with a buddy of mine, and we didn't realize it was airborne airsoft event. We didn't realize it was a Milsim. We turned up thinking it was going to be like a skirmish day. So Ambush used to run. They called it a sort of Milsim, but it was more sort of skirmishy at Longboard. Really, we thought it was going to be like that. We turned up. We got separated pretty much instantly. We didn't have any radio kit or anything, and I basically spent the fucking day on my own. I have barely no mates, but I got to meet some guys. One of which is Jay's quite a good friend of mine now, and I think we were massively outnumbered as well. It was like, I think there was 14 of us on the rebel insurgency forces, and there was like 50 NATO, and I was like, fuck it, let's fucking have it, And it was a really good day. I mean, it's probably the first time I'd been to Longboard and never actually seen the village. We just spent the whole day trying to fight out of the woods, and that was when I sort of first heard the term Milsim in airsoft. I think I'd only been playing about 8 months at that point, maybe a year max. And
at that point, Mike, at that point, the 8 months into your airsofting, had you actually bought back all the kit that you had to give back to the army?
Yeah, literally.
Did you find yourself in a surplus store with your Zap number on, thinking, fucking hell, that was mine. I could just take that, right?
So that cop vest I gave you, do you still need it? I pretty much bought everything I gave away, bought it all back. And I always remember someone saying to me, welcome to the money pit. And it's so true. You can get caught up in such a rabbit hole of spending money on kit. It's most of which is really needed. It just, it depends what sort of event you're at. But
yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely affects the wallet.
Absolutely, yeah. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
Yeah.
All the way, mate. All the way.
So just look at the comments. Tom Bowers jumped in. I enjoyed those early AA Milsims. I avoid Milsim as it's too sweaty for me, a bit too try hard.
So Tom, yeah. I know Tom. Yeah, it's different people like different things, don't they? It's like our events. We don't please everyone. We quite often get good feedback from a large proportion of players, but you can't please everyone. You never can. Some people
it'd make it boring, wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's I mean, some of our events we've had. I think our biggest event we had 180 players at. So I mean, if you can get 180 players without a single complaint, you fucking let me know what the magic pill is.
But in a lot of the complaints sometimes you might get, it could be someone who's not maybe perhaps put as much into the game as they wanted to then get the most out of it. Do you know what I mean? It's all well and good standing back bitching. It's like, well, what did you actually try and do during the event to make it better for yourself if you've got this complaint? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which you had before. Most of the complaints we sort of have aren't really complaints. We don't sort of take as complaints. Most of the time it's constructive constructive feedback, really.
Yeah.
Have guys that will be like, oh, we did this, but this ended up in, and then we'll sort of go back and look at that, and we're like, well, actually, that could have been done a little bit better. Let's sort of, next, if we do that scenario again, let's switch it around. The battle sims are a little bit different because they're just absolute fucking carnage half the time. But quite a lot of people that turn up to those events know it's just going to be carnage. Yeah.
So I mean, in terms of like, because your events might like something that I've noticed when I go to yours rather than sort of other people's is that there's a lot of pre-planning stuff that you sort of see. There's things that you're obviously issuing like documents and stuff like that. It kind of makes you obviously feel like you're part of the event well before you actually get there. So like, give us a rough idea like when like the planning process starts and kind of the rough sort of timeline between that and finishing a Milsim, for example.
So the initial planning doesn't really, there's no real sort of start date for an event. So most of the scenario, I write most of the scenarios for our events, and then the way it normally works is I write most of the scenarios. I go to Simon, and then we look at it together. Say, because quite often, sometimes I get carried away, and I'm like, let's fucking do this. Let's send the guys on like 20k insurgent tab, and he's like, mate, they can't do that. There's a thing we did at Bramley that I nearly killed a couple of people on there. That was 2k insurgent tab. And there was a couple of people that sort of flaked, fair play. No one actually dropped out on that, but it's I get quite carried away sometimes. So yeah. So we'll and most of the scenarios that I sort of write are based on either things I've experienced through my deployments or things that have happened that I know have happened, not just stuff I've read in the book. Like quite often when you're deployed, you'll get sort of reports that on incidents that have happened in the AA. Not so much. Well, when I was in Afghan, not so much there because it was a lot more kinetic. It was more of a war fighting role. So you get stuff that happened in your immediate AO. But certainly when I was out in Iraq, because it was a lot slower paced, we'd get incident reports. So you'd hear everything that happened in the incident. So most of the scenarios are based around, the starting point is based around something that's I've either experienced myself or something that's happened where I've been, sort of thing, or something that someone in my unit has experienced, sort of thing. So that I say the actual initial planning for an event never really, there's no real sort of start point. There's loads of stuff that's always sort of churning away.
Yeah, you can sort of go back through the memory and pull something out. And then
when we get a date, we've already got those sorts of things rolling, really.
Right.
And then it's just putting it down on paper. We just literally sort of type it out, and then all the sort of joining instructions and stuff. My background outside of the airsoft world is in the security and surveillance world, and operationally deployed on that sort of work, as well as training. So I'm used to sending a lot of information out or receiving a lot of information prior to a deployment. But that sort of thing. That's where the documents we set the up comes from, that idea. And then it's just a case of just trying to, like you say, just make guys feel like they're actually part of the event, or actually try and get guys immersed into that role.
Yeah, definitely. That's a massive part of it.
The goal of that sort of, exactly. And the goal of that sort of pre-deployment stuff is for the event is to we kind of want guys turning up to already sort of be have that sort of thing, that those cogs turning, so that they're already in that mindset that, okay, this sort of thing we need to do, this sort of thing we need to play, and then it just sort of progresses from there, really. And we just fire things back and forth between me and Simon for planning, and then basically prior to the event, our DS will get sort of briefings on, if there's something specific that, specific scenario we're going to set up or anything like that. The Milsims they're not point-based events. they are sort of scripted. There's no winners or losers. They're more of for us, we like to think of them as more of an experience rather than a competitive game.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I've tried a couple of point system things as well, and sometimes it's been a bit of a struggle. And like for me personally, I try and take out an event, certain pockets of the event where, like for me and my team, that was wicked. We done that really well.
Yeah,
that not so good. That was really good. And you end up taking away a lot more good points than you do the bad points from the event where you sort of fucked up or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So sort of one in a roundabout kind of way.
Yeah, I think the thing with a points-based event is so we do points-based events for the battle sims. With a point-based event, you've really got to let the airsoft. You've really got to let the players make all the decisions themselves. I think it's difficult to. So on our battle sims, we have 2 DS team commanders, and those commanders aren't given anything about the event, so they're basically treated as players. They don't get included in any of the pre-event briefs. They don't get any of the other team's missions. It's not like we have a table of all the DS and we give all the missions out and then 2 of them go off and command a team. It doesn't work like that. They basically, the 2 DS that are commanding a team, they get their own brief for their team. That's it. They don't see the other team's stuff like the other DS do. And that's the only way you can really do that.
And then it does essentially come down to decision making, then, doesn't it? For both,
it does.
Sort of thing.
And both DSs are basically players. They're not included in the event planning stage, other than administrative tasks. So, there might be briefed up on, like Longboard, for example, is a pain in the ass to get cars in. So obviously we'll include them in that part. But in terms of the actual gameplay, they're not included in any of that aspect. And for a points-based game, that works because essentially they're players. They've got that little, the 2 guys we sort of mainly used for those, although we're thinking we're going to try switching that over to just player-led teams now. They're both ex-military, so they've got experience commanding teams and doing that sort of thing. So it makes it a little bit better for the actual players. But you can't run a points-based team, points-based events, and then have your staff dictating the event. Because you're essentially just deciding who's going to win. And
you're creating points opportunities and sort of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're going to get the whole. Well, he knew the storyline, so obviously they're going to win that battle. You're just going to create a headache for yourself. So
fair point.
So,
it's good though, because then intel actually means something as well, doesn't it?
Mm.
Yeah,
like when you feed back something, it actually plays a part.
Yeah, and that's why we straight away for the Milsim stuff, we said, look, no points on this. There's no winners or losers. We don't even declare. We do a debrief at the end of the event, but we don't declare a winner after the Milsim. We've had players.
And that's what I mean. You take away from the event. I mean, I've come from away, and you take away from the event what you want for your team, didn't you? Really. So I mean, you know in yourself whether you ballsed up or whether that was gleaming, that was pucker, loved all that bit, and do you know what I mean? And that's it's sort of each to their own, then, isn't it? And then you sort of moves on to the next scenario for the next one, which is cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is that was good. Yeah, was it Gladius 2, Mike? Was it that Recon Patrol we done with
Yes.
Was it like Delta 20? Was it, or Alpha 20?
113, whatever it was.
And we done that Recon Patrol when we had the infrared lights coming up the boundary fence, and I was at rear guard and I was just laying there, and it was literally I think the Marines were training in the other, the ground opposite to the Longboard compound.
Yeah.
So we was laid up in the bracken in the wood block, and then I was at the back of our section with my friend Dan, and we just saw like 8 tiny little red dots just patrolling up the side of this fence line, like equal distance apart between each red dot. And I was laying there saying, like, do we fucking shoot them or what? And I was like, he's like, I don't know. I was just like, just lay still, just fucking lay still, just don't move.
I think it was Gladius.
I think it was the same event where they got lit up in the village.
Yeah, I think that was 3. Gladius 3.
Oh, was it 3? Was it? Sorry,
I think it was 3. Yeah. So they were Royal Marine Reserves, and they were based out of the SF base, and they were supposed to be going straight out into the skid pan and round. So they weren't supposed to come through the village at all. They were doing a Navex, a night Navex.
Clearly not very well then.
We got a message that someone in multicam had basically triggered a remote det on a tripwire, and it just kept walking. We were like, what? And the guy we thought that the initial message was someone was cheating and not taking a hit, and then they were like, oh, I think he was a Marine. We were like, what? Huh? And then fucking hell. So but I went down to speak to the Marines, and I said, I spoke to their sergeant major. I said, we've got an event running, and you guys are wearing what one of the teams are wearing. You know, you can't stroll through the village. We've rented the village. Obviously, I know you guys are here training. I completely respect that, but from a safety point of view, you know, because they didn't have
your glasses on. No
goggles. I said to him, "Have you guys got safety glasses?" And he goes, "No, they're only recruits. They don't get issued them yet." So, fucking hell. So I had to explain to him the lethality of airsoft guns. Yes. And he's sort of looking at me like some sort of chump. He's like, what? I said, honestly, if one of you guys gets hit in the eye, it's going to create a lot of paperwork for everyone. Like, seriously. Oh, and to be fair, he went, oh, do you know what? He said, would it be easier if we just cancelled it? I said, no, just you have to cancel it, but if you go that way,
just take a white berth.
Yeah, and he went, you know what, to and then to be fair, he turned around and he said, I know you guys, it costs you sort of CV companies a lot of money to rent this place. So to be fair, we'll cancel it. And they basically shit canned it for the night. And then the next morning we had some sort of attack going, and we had the blank firing 50 and the 240. And when I spoke to them the next day, they were like, what the fuck was that you were using? They were like amazed. They thought it was amazing.
Yeah, that does make the event
really excited
when that fires up. When I first heard it, I was just like, "What the?" I was inside one of the billets in the main mob, and I came out. I was like, "What is that? What's I want one of them?"
Yeah, I think they thought the 240 was just a normal blank firing 240, but then obviously when the 50 cal rocked up, they were.
It's a different beast.
They were a bit surprised by that one. Yeah. I man-packed that across the village for an attack. One of the last events, I think it was. That was a pain in the ass, carrying that 50 around. Trying to get it set up in a window for an ambush.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
There's some gas bottles.
Let's just run into the chat for a sec with some questions, because there's loads of stuff coming in. So we've had one from James C. Will Mike resume running the YouTube channel?
No.
Short and sweet, like it. Next.
To be honest, I love video editing, and I've got so much somewhere. I've got loads of unedited footage that I kind of said if I got the time to do it, I'd go back and sort of revisit it. But I just don't have the time to sit there and edit the videos. It takes so long to bloody do it.
That's a shame, because I was just about to say I'm really shit at it, so I was going to send you a load of stuff to do for me, but you haven't got the time for yourself. So
you sent it to me. I'm not sure it'll get done. But yeah, it's highly unlikely that the YouTube channel will be coming back.
Right. A shame, but obviously busy man.
Yeah. Sam Hill says, how important is it to have an amazing team helping with the smooth running of the events?
It's pretty important. We've got one guy on our team who, funny enough, is called Sam Hill. He's a bit of a shit cunt, but he's he's all right. He turns up sometimes. It is important, actually. We have got a really good team. We've got a good team of guys who, everyone gets a bit tired towards the end of a Milsim, and when me and Si get a bit shouty or bickery or moody, they just like realize, all right, and they get on with it. So we've got a really good team. They put up with us. So.
Yeah, Sam says love
you too, buddy.
Go Sam.
Sam Cousins says, good to see Mike still not sorted his mop out. Love you, big guy. It's a bit of love for the hair. Alistair also says COVID hair strikes back.
COVID hair strikes back. Charming. That's why I let Mrs. loose with the clippers on mine.
I trimmed the sides the other day because I look like Mel Gibson out of Lethal Weapon.
I should keep it going, mate. I should see how I can get it.
Fucking horrendous.
Full booth on for the next event.
Yeah. I want me to get my cap on.
Harry Badger says, having never played Milsim but want to, what would be the example? What would be an example of scoring points?
Is that for me?
It's all for you, mate. It's all for you.
Yeah.
So other event organisers do.
Yeah. This is fucking wicked. This is. We should do this. Why don't we do this weekly?
Other event organisers for their Milsims will do a points-based event. So it'll be, for example, a mission, attack the fob. If you take that fob, you'll get 50 points, which is what we do on our battle sims, our sort of below Milsim. We sort of tout our battle sims as a halfway between a skirmish and a Milsim. We do point scoring there, so it'd be like, retrieve the ammo crates from the downed helicopter before the other forces get there. For every box you get, you'll get 5 points. Missions like that, basically. And then at the end of the event, whoever's got the most points wins, basically.
Fair play.
It's noisy.
Sounds like Chinese getting unwrapped to me.
Can you hear my wife rustling Twiglet packets in the background?
Oh, I was about to say, is it a takeaway? I thought it was a takeaway being unwrapped. I was like, yeah, come on, what is it?
So Alistair says, with night games, how do you stop players just crashing out?
Oh, with great fucking difficulty.
Yeah, let me in on that secret, wouldn't you?
Do you know what? Night events is... The nighttime of an event is the biggest bane of running a long event. It's the most difficult part because generally what tends to happen is... so I'll give you an example. We've had events where we schedule in downtime and players will get, it's like Saturday afternoon, it's 2:00 and a team's scheduled for downtime, but they've only been playing since 10 o'clock that morning. They're like, guys, give it, and it happens every time. They'll come to us and say, we're not tired, give us a mission. I'm like, your next lot of downtime's not till first light tomorrow morning. Like, take the rest. No, we want a mission. So, all right, we don't add stuff in. There's always extra bits that we can rotate teams through. So we never just sort of make up shit on the fly just to give a team something to do, sort of thing. So if we can, we work. All right, okay. If you want to do that, and then what tends to happen is that night they basically they flake out, or we'll say to them, "Don't go and there's no missions for you. Go and take your downtime," and then they don't, and then they sit there chin wagging. They don't get some sleep, and then that night they get all tired and moody. So yeah, the nighttime stuff's a fucking pain in the ass. But it is where some of the best sort of stuff can happen because of obviously the element of darkness and stuff like that. So it's one of those things that's it's never ending battle with airsoft, as it seems, and staying awake through the night.
Exactly. I think we had our downtime was at the last Gladius event when we was in the SF base, and we were billeted above the ops room, and I think we literally got our heads down for about 6.5, 7 minutes. And someone came in the door and said, "No, you got to be QRF. No one else is doing it." I was like, "What? Okay,
yeah,
get up, everyone."
And I think part of that problem is players think they're going to miss out if they take a break during the day. They think they're going to miss out on something, but we write the events so that every team gets shit to do at some point through the event. One of the other issues, and something I'd recommend for everyone is if you come to particularly one of our events, is there is going to be some quiet times because that's how we like the event to run. Is we like that sort of hour of sitting there thinking, "Oh fucking hell, nothing's going to happen," and then complete chaos when you're least expecting, or you're doing the nod and dog. So, night times is Alistair, that's a shit question. to answer. It's good fun from an organisational point of view. It's a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
We had one event. We had a guy come and complain to us. He said it was we'd run a night battle sim. So it was it was supposed to be a 24-hour event, I think. And his complaint was it was too cold and it was too dark at 11:30 at night.
Oh, bless. Did you give him a big hug? So come with me. Come with me.
That was his legit complaint. Another guy said that every time he turned his torch, another guy said every time he turned his torch on, he got shot. That was his complaint. That was a legit complaint as well. It was like, it wasn't. He wasn't taking the piss.
Did he come up to you with his torch, going like, I don't know what it is with his torch, but every time
he was genuinely pissed off that every time he turned his torch on, he got shot.
It's unbelievable. That was actually one of my questions. What's the weirdest complaint you've ever had at a Milsim event?
Probably those two, to be honest. Yeah,
you've answered that.
Too dark and it's too dark and it's too cold, and every time I turn my torch on at night, I get shot. They're probably the two.
That needs to be on a t-shirt. That does. That needs to be on your next batch of Legion t-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that's quality. I love that.
So what? Go on then. What was the worst moment of one of your events? I'm gonna throw that one out there. Like, what's like the thing that you've gone? Oh, I've actually got to sort this out.
Like a head in the hands. Oh God, has that just happened? Sort of moment.
Most of the bad stuff that would cause a major headache has actually been dealt with by our team, and then we found out about it later. To be fair, I said earlier, I said joke about Sam, but we have got a good team of guys that aren't afraid to get stuck in and tell guys to wind it in. I think it's probably one of the funniest, for fuck's sake, moments was we had the Op4 at Longboard, and I wanted them to do a fucking war chant on the railway line, and I very specifically told them, don't just run up down the railway line afterwards and launch some sort of stupid fucking skirmish attack. Do a fucking hoorah on the railway line so that the little patrol base can see that there's 60 of you getting ready to assault them, and there's only 10 of them in there, and then disappear behind the berm so they can't see you coming. And they did the hoorah and then fucking ran down the railway line and straight across the field. Most of them got killed, and it was like, at the time I was really pissed off. I was like really pissed off. Really pissed off.
Just stand there thinking, like, what the fuck did I say?
Yeah, but then after, I didn't say it loud enough, obviously. I think they got a bit carried away, as is often the case, believe it or not. I mean, we ran 3 events where we tried to get a real big riot going, and someone just blew their load too quickly on the Op4 team and started fucking shooting, or someone on the Blue 4 team took someone throwing a fucking pebble at them as lethal force, so they fired back.
It must. I can't imagine, but it must be a fucking ball like trying to sort things like that out.
It's not so much for board. Sometimes it's frustrating because we put a lot of time and effort into some scenarios, and it's like we want. Like there's a particular scenario we've tried to run 3 times. I won't say what it is because we still haven't been able to run it, because every time we've tried to run it, the one group, one force has fucking done something completely different than what they've been instructed to do. Whether that's because they haven't understood it or they just get excited and carried away. And there's a scenario we put a lot of effort into trying to run this scenario, and we still haven't been able to do it. With 3 events we've tried, and it hasn't happened yet. But it'll probably end up happening. It'll be really shit. It'll be all anticipation for nothing.
The debrief afterwards, didn't really go as planned, did it?
Yeah.
After all that.
Yeah. After all that, it was
Whose
a
fucking
real
idea
effort,
was
but-
that?
Yeah, I think, but some of the part of the fun and part of the fun of running the events the way we do is we do let the stories evolve. So we have some key events that we want to happen. So certain ambushes, we want guys, right, then we need a patrol to go down this route and take this route at some point through the event. We need this to happen, or we need that sort of thing to happen to try and bring on certain parts of the story, try and bring on certain types of engagements, etc., etc. And part of the fun is just watching guys try and figure it out. I mean, we had one of the so we ran an event, Sartorius, which was more a police-based event, and we actually had key players in amongst the Civ Pop force, and the sort of Blue force had to basically figure out who the sort of gang warlords were, basically using surveillance tactics, patrols, intelligence gathering, things like that. And they never figured it out. And they got a surveillance picture of one guy. Every time someone came in the ops room, they were like, "Oh, that's fucking so and so," and not one of them actually said, "Do we need to raid his house?" And we let them kind of develop that. From our point of view, it was like, "Fucking hell, guys, come on."
That sounds similar to the DEA one we done, wouldn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
We had to sort of try and cut the head off the snakes of the different cartels and find out who their their lieutenants were and their captains and this, that, and the other. That was cool. That was a good event, and it was basically it was essentially left up to you as a team to get your own intel and sort of it's sort of very fluid from there, basically, sort of depending on what route you took.
It was a nightmare as well because all the players forgot who they were meant to be.
Well, this is the trouble. You had the cartels. They thought all these fucking weird and wonderful flamboyant names, El Capital, and when you enter a video, I can't remember what my name is. What did I write down at the beginning? And I think, literally, it was about an hour ago, mate. Come on, fucking hell, bro. Yeah.
And you can't write it down because if you get searched, and you got all that information on you.
It's like it's an hour ago. You filled the form in an hour ago. What's this here? What's this?
I'm just going to jump into the chat quickly because Billy Brooks has just said my mate took a kilogram bag of flour to the face at a protest at Longboard. So
that's a lively one. Wallop.
Because I know you guys run the foam bricks as well. Like one of the events I went to. I was going to say I know we did one of the events at Lid with the foam bricks. That was like the first time I saw the riot down there. That to me, because I think we were checking out like one of the local shops and we were busy looking for supplies. I remember
you were QRF on that. You were Blue 4, weren't you, on that, Mike? Were you QRF? You were one of the first QRF teams that encountered the angry mob.
No, so we were searching. There was one team down the street who were like facing off against the angry mob. We were in the shop looking for like bomb parts or whatever. Because the shops down at Lid have all the stuff in them, so we were looking behind the shelves, like moving packets of cornflakes and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, QRF came screaming past us, went through the Blue 4 team in the street, and then had to do a U-turn and come straight back the other way because Op 4 started throwing bricks and like all sorts of smoke grenades and all sorts.
Yeah.
And then everyone got wiped out, like the entire.
Was that the event? I think Kettles was at that one because he said about the foam bricks. Was it a bit breezy?
Yeah.
And now and again the brick was caught in the breeze.
Yeah. So
what happened to that?
We at Ripe, there's piles of actual bricks lying around. So we created a load of foam bricks that looked kind of similar. And I remember one of the guys was like. One of our DS come back to us and he said when they fucking started throwing the red bricks, I think one of the guys on Blue 4 thought the Op 4 had just picked up a load of bricks they'd seen lying around all day.
Shit his pants.
Started lobbing a load of house bricks. That's it, yeah. And one of the guys absolutely shat his pants. Thought he was about to take a brick to the head, and obviously it was just a foam one and bounced off. But the awesome thing about that event was we had, I can't remember who it was, one of the guys on QRF, he came back in. It was the first QRF that got out to deal with one of the angry mob. And he looked fucking terrified. And we sort of thought, shit, is there an issue here? And I sort of went out to him, was like, I can't remember who it was. And he said, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine." And then this big grin came on his face, and he was like, That's the most realistic thing I've ever done in my life." And he was so excited at how fucking scared he was.
That's quality.
I can't remember who it was.
I remember when I came face to face with he's the big guy I was always up for. The first time I came face to chest with him. Yeah.
Nick Landis.
Absolute gentleman. But literally I turned round and I just got a face full of chest, and I was just like, "All right, mate."
My first yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
My first
in the face.
My first experience of Nick Landis was at a Milsim, and I was commanding a team. I was as commander of one of the forces, and I think it was Nick's. But I didn't know him. It was one of his first events, and I've got this on film. Actually, I keep saying to him, "I'm gonna upload the video," and you see me walk around at Longboard across to where the open sort of area is behind the Sergeant Major's house, and I see Nick Landis running across the grap field. I think he either had a pistol or a smoke grenade in one hand and a massive fucking Excalibur type sword in the other hand. And you hear me go,
"Yes, you do.
What the fuck? Has that guy got a sword?" And like, across this field. I was like, "Why has he got a fucking sword? Who is this dickhead?" He's a good guy. He's a good guy, Nick.
Yeah, sound, mate, sound. And it's there's no. I've been to 2 or 3 events. I've been to the Gladius events now at Longmore and that, and there's never once come across like a little bit of tit for tat on a battle sim, but certainly on the Milsim events, there's never been like crosswords that I've seen sort of come across or anything like that. Whether you as yourself have had to deal with incidents, I don't know, but they've always been quite pleasant. Everyone's been quite gentlemanly on the whole. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've had a couple of barnings. Generally in the middle of the night when people get sort of tired.
Torches get turned on and people get shot.
Yeah. But generally speaking, mate, the thing is, I normally, if I see people sort of gobbing off, I'll be like, "Mate, you're running around the woods with toy guns.
Chill out."
What? Yeah, like seriously, you're gonna have a fight over a fucking toy gun battle? I mean, come on. Like, there's worse things in life to get angry about. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we had one guy. He was this was at Battlesome though. He was threatening people. I think I can't remember the situation now, but he was being a prick. And we went over. Me and Simon went over to speak to him, and then we had reports that he'd threatened someone, and then so we're like, "Fucking hell, okay." So we go down to talk to him again, and as we're walking down to talk to him, we can hear him gobbling off about how he'll get the boys. He's going to get the boys down, or something. And
all the lads,
something like this. And Simon said to him in the politest possible way, "Please leave and don't come back." And then, which was quite polite for Simon. I was expecting him to say, "Please fuck off and don't come back," but
yeah,
he was quite polite that day, and which was disappointing for me. But then that guy messaged us back and it's like, "Oh, 2 of your marshals banned me from your site, and I'm not entirely sure why." I was like, "Mate, it was us, you dickhead." Like, I can tell you exactly why if you want.
Oh, yeah, fair play.
So, like just going back to the foam bricks. I mean, that's obviously quite innovative for an event. I mean, I'd not seen that before. What sort of innovations would you like to see, irrespective of budget and stuff? Because whenever I go to your events, it's always like, you've got some new toys. I mean, there was either like the 50 cal cannon on top of the Hilux, or you got the foam bricks, or I think at one point there was the like the law, or the sort of the rocket launch or whatever.
Yeah, that's a real N-law.
Yeah. Well, I was at I think it was at War and Peace when you bought it, actually.
When we bought it. Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Did I show you then? Someone came.
You did, yeah. Because I was just like,
just bought.
You were literally just walking around with it on your shoulder. I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's a real N-law, obviously decommissioned. I mean, for me, one of the reasons we introduced the blank firers was because the thing Airsoft lacks is noise.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
the noise, and even with the small amount of blank firing we have at our events, you can see from an organizer's point of view, you can see once the noise picks up how different people start to react. Like, we can have a battle going on in the middle of the street. In fact, there was one with guys were clearing down one of the alleyways in Longboard, and then the QRF turned up. And as the QRF turned up, the guys on Op4 that had blank firers turned up. So you ended up with the 50 cal going, the 240 going, and then these other blank firers going, these pistols from the Op4. And the noise just went through the roof, and it was constant. Mm-hmm. And what Blue4 were doing, I mean, they were doing really well, and then everything just went to rat shit because they couldn't communicate effectively because of the noise. So I think if you could just, that's one thing I'd like. I think I saw a while back someone had created a 240 launcher. Sorry, not 240 launcher, a 40 mil launcher underslung that was a sound generator or something. Something like that would be. I think.
I've seen the video on it. There's a New Zealand inventor, a couple of guys.
I think so. Yeah.
And it actually emits. You can actually select what rifle, depending on what rifle it goes on. You can choose an AK-47 or an M4 or whatever it could be. You'd actually choose that, and it's like a fucking amp, and it's the size of the. I've seen the video for it. It's New Zealand guys, but apparently it's whether it's sort of stagnated now or not. But I haven't heard any more on it. But it's a wicked bit of kit.
The thing is, it's so expensive. Yeah, but I mean, if you had everybody making that sort of noise, the immersion in the events would just be absolutely fucking amazing. But I think that's the big thing. That's why we try and use a lot of pyrotechnic, and we allow players to use blank firers.
Love pyro. That's why we got 3 mortars in one team.
I'll never forget the time we were attacking the sand fob. Like literally, we were camped outside the gate trying to get in, and there was so many Mark 5s coming over. At one point, you just came up to us like, guys, you're dead, but you're mush at this point. You're not even going to get healed. Like, just go.
Yeah. You lot are literally like milkshakes out here now. Because I remember that was the event. I must be Gladius 2 or 3.
2, I think.
But like a Mark 5 come over the fob wall and it went into my dump pouch, and I'm sitting there here, and I'm going, what the fuck? I went, oh fuck! Boom! I was like, I'm proper fucking dead. I am. That landed in me nearly.
Op4 had occupied the sand fob or whatever, the Alamo, whatever it's called, and we were trying to take it back as Blue4, and it was literally there was just Mark 5 after Mark 5 coming out of this thing. It was just
mate, yeah.
Was that at night?
Yeah, it was a night attack. It was, yeah.
Was that at night?
It was like the end scene of Kingdom of Heaven. There was just Blue4 bodies piling up outside the main gates.
Bodies everywhere. There was a lot of tired teddies at that during that little battle.
Cool.
There's a few people getting a little bit upset with the amount of pyro coming over.
No, I loved it.
If I remember rightly, but
it's like an Apocalypse Now moment. I was just kneeling down outside.
Yeah.
Come on.
The thing is, it's not. It's fucking. Me and Simon decided to play one of our Battlesome events once. We commanded a team each, and I was on the brief one. We got round. You know where the big skip is by the patrol base at Longboard? I was in there, and this tag round came in and took us out. And we have a rule where even if you get killed by a grenade, you still got a bleed out time. So we all hit the deck, and then another tag round comes in. Then one bounces off the fucking back plate of the guy next to me, and then another one comes in. And it was Cy and Jim at the other end down by the graveyard, just wanging tag rounds at us because they didn't realise we were dead. They were too far away to see. We're like, I'm waving my dead rag, going, I'm fucking dead. Going absolutely mental. And they're just like, are they mocking us? Launch another round. And it does get frustrating. I was getting really pissed off. And then obviously, then you see the funny side of it. Well, you should see the funny side of it. I mean, we are playing with toy guns,
Yeah, for sure.
So I just put in the chat if there's any questions, like throw them in and we can ask them. Most people are asking what's the plans for this year. I'm just going to run through them. Nick Rogers says Les has said, what's the plans this year for Legion? Billy has said, missed the first 30 minutes. Any Milsims lined up? So, Mike, come on, let's answer this one because this one's a big one for people.
Here we go. So we're going to announce
It's an
nothing
exclusive.
because
Oh, yeah, me. I was up there then.
So,
Back down
yeah.
again.
I was trying to get a date. So we've heard through the grapevine of various rumors that we're closing down, or we've gone bust, or we had someone come into his shop a few months ago that apparently me and Cy had fallen out with the Heresy Group guys. So there's loads of bullshit floating around. We're not going anywhere. We are actively trying to get events dates on MOD sites. We didn't announce this, but at the end of last year, we had a load of events we were going to put on, and we literally got ready to push the button, and the MOD pulled the plug on it last minute. The way it seems to be working at the moment is, and I don't know what the setup is between Landmark and the MOD, but this is just my sort of guess, but I get the impression that what we pay to rent a site from Landmark doesn't go to the Army. The MOD doesn't see any of that, from what I understand. So they don't care if we don't run it. Third-party event organisers don't run events. So it seems like, from our conversations with Landmark, that the risk, obviously there's a lockdown at the moment, so there's no events happening. But previously there was a risk of PR issues and things like that. So that's why the MOD were pulling the events towards the end of last year. So we are trying to get dates. We're trying now to see what we can get, but unfortunately, we are reliant on the MOD basically saying yes or no. Realistically, we think following guidelines from the government legislation on the the roadmap to recovery, whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah,
I don't think any big events can really happen until June. As much as any other airsoft company wants to fucking turn around and make out that we're part of some obscure sport, we're not classed as a sport. We're more aligned with events and festivals, I think, personally.
That's a fair
especially
shout, yeah.
when you have large amount of players, So I think June's probably when everything's going to get back to full speed. Maybe some smaller events before then, but we are absolutely trying to get some dates. As soon as we have those dates and we can get something in place, we will be announcing those dates. We aren't closing the company. We're not. We haven't gone bust. We haven't.
That's always good to hear.
There's so many rumors that we hear. People send me a message and be like, "Oh, I've heard you guys have." You guys don't want to do any more events. Like, what the fuck did you hear? I think the Heresy Group guys, Tim and Richie, would. I can't remember where it was. I think it was early last year. I was in a hotel somewhere, and for work, and I just happened to go on Facebook, see they were live streaming, and I clicked on it because I had nothing better to do, and thought. I'll see what these guys are chatting about, and then they just happened to be talking about. They said sorry. They'd seen that I'd popped on the chat, and then they'd mentioned. Tim said, "Oh, I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you guys decided to fold. What was the decision behind it?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" We haven't said that. So.
That wasn't planned. I didn't mean to just join just as you said that. But what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I think they'd been talking about it earlier. Sorry, and as I joined, obviously my name had popped up on his. Mike has joined the live stream, and then Tim basically said, "I'd love to hear your thoughts." Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah, and I was like, "Huh?" And then I sort of think, so I'd said to a few players. At one of our events because they'd made a few fuck ups, and it was more of a sort of bit of banter and a bit of tongue in cheek sort of thing. I'd said to them, the way you guys are going, we'll never be running a fucking Milsim ever again. And I think someone overheard that and took that as gospel. And
right.
that was the rumor that
then.
went around. So, yeah.
It went all the way across the net.
I can only assume. Yeah, went everywhere. But
so as a follow-up to that, because again, loads of people have just jumped to this. So Charlie says, any thoughts on using big airsoft sites instead of the MOD, and same as Jason. So, I mean, for example, there's obviously the site that they hold National Airsoft Festival at, which is a big airsoft site. I mean, have you got any thoughts on maybe not using MOD stuff?
So we've approached a few sites. We had a couple of sites come to us and say, look, we have offered their sites, and it's just not worked out. Either the site hasn't been suitable for what we want, or they've sort of changed their mind. We've gone down there, said what we want to do. They've said great, and then we get a sort of phone call or an email to say, actually, we've got something else come up, and we can't accommodate you anymore. Part of the issue we find with non-MOD sites is pyro restrictions. So quite a lot of these sites have pyro restrictions late at night because they're not MOD training area, they're civvy land. The other issues we come across for quite a few of the sites we've actually looked at so far is public rights of way that just go right through the site, that we just can't, as a legit company, we can't risk assess properly for it, because if you've got a public right of way going through your airsoft site, I can't remember, I won't name it, I can't remember anyway, but there's a site in particular, I played at it, and a cyclist came through the middle whilst we were literally mid-battle. So there's loads of issues why we haven't gone to a site so far. We're not completely close to the idea. We have looked at other sites. It's just not worked out. For either they've pulled the plug and said no, the site hasn't been suitable from a gaming point of view for what we'd like to do, or there's too many risks. There was a site we ran. We'd run one game there. I can't remember where it was now, but there was a public right of way right down the outside. There was no barrier. If someone was strolling down there, they could just literally walk across. And some of these sites that are out there, I have no idea how the event organisers that run them actually get away with their, from an insurance point of view, and their risk assessments. Considering that we fire projectiles.
I mean, on that, I'm guessing if it's a bit of an established site, and obviously there is a public right of way, I'm sort of going to hazard a guess that everyone within sort of like the local community know what happens there, know the days it goes on, knows, that it's sort of off limits, or whether there's any signage about or anything. But obviously, I know you can't mitigate all risk, but I mean, whether they put any signage at the throat of each access point to that site from a public bridle way or walkway. Yeah. Whether that's something they've done or perhaps not, there's only so many things you can do, isn't there? So
don't get me wrong. There are some sites out there that run regularly that have those issues, and they accommodate it for. I'm purely talking about some of the sites that we visited, and they're like, no one ever goes down that path. I'm like, but could someone go down that path? Yeah, but no one ever does. Okay, well then,
well, that's fine then.
I don't want to be responsible for taking out little Jimmy's fucking eye while he's on he's walking his little puppy that his mom's got him for Christmas. So no, we're not coming here. And like I say, 100% there are sites out there that mitigate for that. They put signage up. We Red Hill, it was actually, we ran one event there, and we did the same. We put netting up, we put tape up, etc. We put an exclusion zone up from the players that was far enough away from the public footpath that if one of the players did fire over there towards that direction, the round wouldn't get to the path. There are 100% there's sites out there that do that sort of thing, but some of the sites that we've been to run battle sims or milsims out, they just don't fit for either one of those reasons. Or some of them are costs. Some sites that we've been to have quoted us more than the MOD sites, which is and they ain't cheap. So There's a whole host of reasons, but we're not closed down completely to running events at other sites. We looked at our sites, it just hasn't worked out. So it is something that's on our radar. We've just not found the right place yet.
Right. Okay. Good to know.
Well, we're coming. One of the kind of points I wanted to ask is, what would you say are the 5 main things that people need to consider before attending like one of your events from a new player perspective to Milsim?
The big one for us is attitude.
Mindset.
Mindset. It's a regular occurrence on this show. It's fucking mindset. Everything. Oh, you can answer any question if you're not sure. Mindset. That's it.
Yeah. You need to understand what you're actually attending. I mean, we did a recce based event, and we had complaints that there wasn't enough we did a recce based event based on players asking for a recce based event, and then we had we had guys complaining that there wasn't enough contacts in the first day of the event. You've got to understand the type of event you're going to and what that sort of event entails. We like to, as I said earlier, have those quiet periods where you have that lull in a barrel. You have those 2 hours where nothing's happening. Guys can get some rest and recuperation. If you're on stag in a sanger and there's 2 of you there, you don't need to both be awake. One of you can sit in the corner and do a bit of nodding dog for 20 minutes and then swap round. Yeah. And then if something kicks off, you're both there. No one seems to sort of get that. So a lot of guys seem to struggle with that. So the mindset is a big one. You need to really sort of turn up and immerse yourself into whatever role it is that you've taken on at that event. Have your kit squared away. Guys that rock up with ridiculous kit for a weekend event and then it pisses it down with rain, and all their shit gets soaked, and they've got no spare kit, they've not even got anything in their car. If we let them go back to their car, they won't got anything in my car. You need to be a little bit squared away. You should have some dry kit in your car for when the event's finished to get changed, so you don't go down on the drive home. And you need to sort of figure out what sort of kit you need for the actual event, depending on what it is. If it's winter, bring a bloody jacket, a waterproof jacket. The amount of people that we've had come to events, and it's forecast for -5 at night or minus something at night, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've just got a shirt and a t-shirt." So yeah, you need kit, right kit, and appropriate kit. Aside from that, just don't be a dick and just go with the event, and don't try and preempt. The big one is where guys go wrong, in my experience, is when people try and preempt what's going to happen at an event. They don't just take it as it comes. They try and figure out what's going to happen next, and then if that doesn't happen, they're like, well, why hasn't that happened? What, or nothing happened, nothing's happening, or the sort of the bad vibes start to come out. So if you're tasked with doing something, I mean, we've had teams, we've tasked them to go out and do. We had a team. We tasked them to go out and do a clearance patrol in an area. They'd done a clearance patrol. Unbeknown to them, there was enemies spotted by another team in the village. They didn't hear it on the radio because the comms were broken. So they were tasked by their commander, right, to alert the forces, sit in this area. They were there for 15 minutes. And by pure coincidence, the Op4 team had decided to... so we've got that mortar on our team, that blank firing mortar. That fires a 12 gauge. That fucking really.
Is that one which got like an ejector at the bottom, so you can drop the blank shell out of it?
Drop the blank shell out. Yeah.
I've seen that video.
So it uses a full size 12 gauge. That does, yeah.
That's
so
wicked. Whenever
the guys are firing that, we basically say to them, right, because of the flame that comes out at the end and the noise of it, you have to have DS with you when you're firing that thing. So, and then what happens is the DS will just call in where they've picked to fire it from, just from a safety point of view. We don't use that information or anything. And this one particular event we had, these guys were in a lurk position or an OP position, just waiting for further instructions, basically in the dark, in the middle of the night. And then our DS that was with the Op4 radioed through and says, "Oh, we're going to fire 5 rounds from the mortar from this grid reference." And when we looked at the map, I looked at Simon and I went, "Holy shit, that other patrol's literally 100 meters away from where they're going to fire that from. This is going to be amazing." Because all they will see through the trees is this massive flame erupt, and they'll probably shit their pants. And hopefully a big battle will ensue. And they've done the 5 rounds and nothing happened. And then when we radioed through to this other team, their response was literally, "Oh, nothing was happening there, so we moved position." You were there for 15 minutes. Fucking give it more time than that, you know. So you've got to embrace the role that you're given, and you know, and play it through and commit to it. You know, if at the end of the event you think that's shit, just come to us and say, "Look, this was shit because of this, and this."
But I mean, from what you're saying there, it's put your trust in the organisation of the event. The reason you're doing that is because there is a reason for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's a fair shout, mate.
You know, and if there's an issue, if you've got an issue, come to us, and you know, come to us like a fucking grown man or woman, and you know, air your issue. But you know, don't just sit there going, "Oh, it was shit because it was shit." Give us a bit of feedback if you thought something, you know.
Yeah, because I've seen it a few times where people have berated an event after they've been to it. Not sort of singling out your events or anything like that, but a event, if you like, and it's been, "Oh shit, I'm not going back there again." And it's like, yeah, but fucking why, mate? Why? And that's it. You won't hear nothing else from them. It's like, "Oh shit, I'm not doing that again."
It doesn't help anybody.
You need to have a bit more input than that to have a warrant argument. Exactly, that's it. Exactly.
If you thought it was shit, tell them. You know, if we ever get bad feedback or, and like I said earlier, we can't please everybody. There's no possible way we're going to have 100% of players happy with every single aspect. You know, we have quite a good feedback rate from the players that we speak to. We try and speak to every player as they leave the event, and generally speaking, most of them shake our hands and say thanks for a good weekend. You know, very, very rarely have we had someone come to us face to face and say, "Look, you know, we didn't feel this worked," sort of thing. And when stuff like that does happen, we take it on board, we make notes, and we readjust if we feel it's something that can be adjusted. Sometimes it's shit that, you know, like the non-hit taking thing. That's one of the.
Oh, it's just a ball. Like, if you're going to get that anywhere, there's no getting around it. It's one of those things, isn't it?
It's one of those things that we as much as we try and enforce that, and to be fair, we don't get much. We don't really hear many complaints of non-hit taking, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things.
I don't think any site or organisation will ever sort of cure that, mate. You know, it's not.
You won't.
I mean, I've had it before. For me, I've been laced up in the day sack before.
Yeah,
not felt it, and I've been like into cover like that, and I've been laced in the bag, and mate's gone, "Oh, fucking hit you," and lost it, and I was like, "Oh, hang on, mate, where? You know, I've got no pain, I've got no whelps come up in my arms or anything like that. I hit you in your back, I've got a day sack on, bruv. Come on, chill out, mate."
Yeah. That's where the mindset bit comes in again.
I'll hold my hands up. If you've got me, if you saw you hit me, then I'll quite happily call for a minute now, and I'll lay out on the floor. But I didn't feel it, so I apologise. Do you know what I mean?
I said it, guys. If you're confident enough that you hit me to say to me directly, "Mate, I hit you there," I'm going to trust that you're being honest. And
exactly, that's it. Exactly, that's the gentleman's side of it coming out.
Unfortunately, not everyone takes that stance.
No. Well, I did it we had a skirmish day for Mike's birthday at a site last year, and I was hit out of the game, and I had comms on, and the boys were talking to me from where we was laid up. We was holding the line to the north of a particular area of this gaming zone. And as I was walking back, I was walking past the marshal, and the boys were chattering away in my ear, this, that, and the other, Lance, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I said, "Lads, can't talk, I'm a dead man. I'm just going back to respawn now." And even the marshal said, "Fucking hell," so I've never, ever heard someone say that, especially when they've got comms. They're chatting away, "Oh, I was just here," and blah, 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 blah. He said, "No," so, you know, fair play. And that's part of the game. A massive part of the game is the fair play side of it, the honesty, the respect, you know what I mean? And treating it as it is a game. It is a game, you know what I mean?
Most people follow those rules. You get the odd douche nozzle turns up sometimes, but unfortunately you can't fucking you can't weed them out until they turn up. Yeah.
Variety is the spice of life, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got to have one or two there just to mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
Well, because we're coming nearly to the end, so if anyone's got any last minute comments or questions, if you want to just throw them in the chat quick, I will just say happy birthday to Gaz. So he's one of our regular listeners. So happy birthday, mate! Hope you had a good day.
Happy birthday, Gaz! Many happy returns,
Happy
mate.
birthday.
Whilst we're waiting for any last questions to come in, I just want to remind people about our Milsim care bag giveaway or Milsim care package giveaway. So something that.
Oh, he's paused.
Sorry, I'm back.
Hello, welcome
something
back,
that
Just for
something we're
build up.
working on with the member Foxtrot is we're basically running a thing at the moment where we are giving away effectively a Milsim in a bag. So it's pretty much a full Milsim kit. Sleep system, shelter system, cook system, all of that. It's actually at this point probably a better kit than Lance or I have when we go out. So,
I'm staring at it now.
We've got donations from like our listeners, viewers, private companies, and the like. And the way to nominate for that is if anyone wants to. The idea is that if there's someone who's had a bit of a shit year, or someone that for whatever purposes hasn't had a chance to get into Milsim or anything like that, we kind of want to try and give people that opportunity. So if anyone's got any idea of someone that they'd like to nominate, please do so at our email address, which is nofochat@hotmail.com. Just ping us an email on there if you just sort of explain who they are, sort of some of their circumstances and stuff. And we are going to sort of collate those and try and give that away at, I think, end of June, I think we said.
That's right,
So,
which is not going to be an easy task in itself because some of the emails that we've had so far, it's been
pretty hard.
Heartbreaking.
It's pretty hard.
It's been hard to read some of it. So
but
hopefully we can get this one bag, one full British Army Bergen, full of all the bells and whistles, all the goodies for everything you need to just get yourself out on the weekend and get away from it or get away from reality and of all the crap that we've had over the last sort of 13 months now or 14 months, whatever it is. Of course, I'm giving up. And sort of get back to it and have a bit of fun. That's the main thing about it. Do you know what I mean? And we're not asking you to like, share, subscribe, and all that crap. Tag 5 people and give us your nan's maiden name. Don't want any of that. It's just if you know someone who's had a really hard time of it, or is deserving of this kit bag, then just send us an email and give us a nomination, and that's it.
Yeah, and we'll even give it anonymous if needs be, because some of the stuff that we've been hearing is pretty hard. So, we're not. It's not a publicity thing. It's just we kind of just want to help. So I'll put the email address at the end of the show again. And the only other thing is I just wanted to thank Nick Pratt. So it's a new listener to the show who's found us in the week, who sent me one of the nicest messages to say just thanks for doing these. So just wanted to give him a bit of a shout out quick.
Yep, fair play to him. Yeah, it's very nice.
But we have had one last question, Mike, from Silly Gilly.
Go on.
So hi there. Can I ask Mike what he thinks of snipers at Milsims? Just a general question. Because I know actually this is a little bit loaded because obviously I know you had the slight issue with ghillies at one point. So I'm going to throw that on there as well.
And all that sort of business. Yeah. Excuse me.
We didn't really have a major issue with ghillies. It was just causing it was causing a bit of confusion. Some absolute throbotron on YouTube decided to turn it into some bigger issue than it was, but it basically what happened was we allowed ghillies, right? So this was at the Battlesims. Milsims, we never banned ghillies at Milsims. Okay,
no, that's right.
We've never banned ghillies at Milsims because to play as a sniper in the Milsim, you're not allowed to just cut about on your own doing whatever the fuck you want. You're part of a team. It's a structured event. Battlesims, however, the players sort themselves out. So we had issues where for about 8 months at our events, we had guys in ghillies. People were getting confused. They were. We had the odd player that was in a full ghillie and using it to his advantage, walking up to the members of the opposing team who thought he was on their side and then shooting them last minute. Okay, we had that sort of thing. Then we had guys going into buildings, mainly at Bramley, seeing an enemy ghillie dub sniper there and ignoring them, thinking he was a friendly, and it was causing issues there. So we basically said, right, we'd made the plan to say, all right, trousers, you need to show your, you need to wear your normal team's colours on your legs. So upper ghillie, absolutely fine. Lower ghillie, no. Just at our battle sims. And that's purely from a point of view of allowing player identification. It's either that or we give you armbands, Mil sims, though, and our battle sims have done completely differently to our Mil sims. Mil sims, not a problem if ghillie. If you want to be a sniper in your section and wear a ghillie, full ghillie suit, crack on. It's absolutely fine. It's not an issue at all because you'll be utilised in that role. Obviously,
and obviously from the Milsim point of view, you're going to have your section or your platoon, wherever you're going to be in, is going to be aware of your location. The rest of your friendlies are going to be aware of your location, so they're going to be looking for someone in that area. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost obviously back to PID, isn't it?
Yeah. So our Gladius series, the Op 4 were all civvies basically and insurgents, so they weren't wearing a military uniform. So it was very easy. If the civvies rocked up and saw someone in a ghillie suit, it was clearly Blue 4. If Blue 4 saw someone in a ghillie suit, it was clearly Blue 4. The Op 4 for that series of events weren't allowed to wear any camouflage clothing. So, and if you rock up to a Milsim and you're a ghillied up sniper, okay, it might be a case that we put you in an OP position and your section has to insert you into that position and then act as cover for you, so you can act as a sniper for that event. But we've got no problems with ghillies at our Milsim events because obviously it's a structured event. We can incorporate that, we can not incorporate that, we can see fit. The battle sims, however, and this is where the confusion comes from, because the guy on YouTube didn't seem to realise what event he was at, and he said that we'd banned him at Milsims. He didn't. He's never been to one of our Milsims. He's been to one of our two of our battle sims. Right, I believe. So
bit of a misinformation
with. Yeah. I mean, after I spoke to him, he changed some of his comments. But I believe drama creates views, doesn't it? On YouTube.
Say no more, sir.
What about snipers as a whole?
I don't have a problem with snipers. They can. So there's a guy who's a sniper at I forget his bloody name now. Who played quite a bit on the Op 4 team when we were in the Gladius series, and when he'd get into the village and you'd hear the guys would be like, "Fucking hell, the sniper's out," because he'd be picking off the 50 cal gunners. I think he put a video up on YouTube, and you can just see as the QRF trucks are moving down the alleyway, you can just see the QRF gunners like from here upwards, and you can see he fires around and it goes and it bounces off the guy's helmet, and obviously he ducks down, and then that halts the whole. It halts the whole patrol. Snipers. We've got no problem with snipers at all. I'd say at Milsim events the events are structured, so we get people to identify what role they're going to play to us, so that we can write scenarios in there. So that guy, Justin, I think his name's Justin. He came to us and he was. I know Oliver Lee. There you go.
Yeah,
that's him. Oliver Lee. Yeah, the exact guy there. So, for one event we said, right, get in the end of that street. If a patrol comes along, take a couple of shots and bug out. And, he did that a couple of times. And it adds to the, if you've got a patrol going down the street, particularly when blank fires are used as well. We had a couple of guys firing a blank fire. I think at one point we had him sitting there firing shots with his sniper at the same time as someone was firing a blank round, just to create that, so that the Blue 4 team could try and identify where the building, where the shots were actually coming from. And I can't remember if they did or not, but it created some panic. So we've got a problem with snipers.
I think a sniper is far better utilised in a Milsim event than obviously a skirmish. From my point of view, I'm not a sniper. I've never done this. I've tried it. I couldn't get on with it. But from my point of view, what I can see is a sniper at a skirmish event sort of thing per se is more out for himself, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. That it's just him and his primary and his secondary.
Yeah.
But then at a Milsim event,
if you're-
he's more there. If he's attached to something, then he's there. Right. If I create a bottleneck here, that then gives this section a chance to move up while I'm laying down cover and this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I love the idea of coming up against snipers at Milsim events now. I think I love it. It's brilliant because they're sneaky bastards, all of them. Even if they're new to sniping, they're still sneaky bastards.
Yeah. I think if people like different things. If your bag is crawling around, getting the odd shot here and there, and sneaking around, then if that's what you enjoy in the game, that's absolutely fine. Say we changed the rule on the battle sim purely from a player identification point of view on the legs, and and every one of our regular players actually had no problem with that rule when we made that rule change. No one actually cared.
I mean, it's a fair point. It's not unreasonable, is it? It's not like you're saying, "No, you can't wear them at all." It's it's bottom mark.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's going to be covered anyhow by low lying vegetation, isn't it? So
exactly. I mean, you can get yourself into a little sniper hide and cover your legs, no problem. 90% of the time. So we've got no problem with snipers. As long as with any role, as long as you're not being an intentional dickhead whilst you're out playing, then if you're a dickhead, you're a dickhead. It doesn't matter whether you've got a sniper rifle and an LMG or a assault rifle. A dickhead's a dickhead. So
don't matter what they're holding.
On that note,
doesn't matter what they're holding.
Rage asked this question previously. Rage, I have already choked to Mike about Swish, and we'll be sorting him out with a couple packets of that the next time.
Whether he likes it or not, the next
whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
Prior to the main briefing, get that down, some of that.
Yeah. So I don't wake up naked, face down in a ditch. I'm going to be disappointed.
So the last comment I'm going to leave to Charlie Gaines. He just said Gladius 5 2021, hands up. We definitely want that one to happen. So
yeah, that
we're
sounds good to me.
There you go. Well,
Lots
Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Maybe.
So thanks so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure having you on.
No problem, man. Good to be here.
And hopefully maybe we can have you again if you'd like to come back. So
yeah, no problem.
Mate. It'd be fantastic.
We'll as soon as we get some dates for anything, we'll post those out. But don't hold your breath because it might be a little while yet. But they are coming slowly.
It'll be worth the wait.
Slowly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I've completely forgotten what we're talking about next week, Lance.
Putting the payment out.
I'm going to wake up after a night shift one day, look at my phone, and it'll be like notification. I'll be like, "Oh Christ, there we go, game on." Mike's put a date out. Let Hell's Gates are open.
I'm actually dreading putting a day out if we get one or when we get one. I'm dreading the carnage that's going to ensue in my emails, Facebook messages, and that last time, the last one crashed our bloody website.
I think I might go old school in the next
we sold out in 8 minutes.
Just handwritten letter straight through the post here.
Yeah, cashing it. Before we go, Lance.
Yes, Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Is he frozen? Mike.
No, I'm here.
Can you get a screenshot? Can you get a screenshot with me and Lance?
Mate. Yeah, no worries.
I just want to get my picture with him.
Ah, you motherfuckers! I knew it. You got me hook, line, and sinker. I thought it might have been the beards, and it was that fucking event. I wish I'd never gone to that fucking event now.
As always, guys, if you ever see Lance out on the field, please ask him for a photo. That'd be awesome. Cool. Right, we're going to have to call it a day. Man. So thanks, Mike, for joining us. Next week, I think we're going to be talking about headgear. Yeah, I think we'll talk about headgear next week. So
headgear? Cool, that sounds a bit fucking ominous.
Helmets, hats, and all that stuff before it gets
talking about helmets. Lovely.
Cool. Right. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Good night. All best.